At 6:02 a.m., I shut off the leaf blower, held up the HOA rulebook under Karen's bedroom window, and smiled like a man who finally learned the bully's language. 12 hours later, a tow truck's winch screamed in the clubhouse garage, while a storm of fake handicapped placards spilled out of her duffel phones, up mouths open. The cuffs clicking like punctuation you can feel. That's the end of the story if you want it short, but the road to that garage started at my front door with a clipboard, a ruler, and a smile shaped like a paper cut. My name's Ethan Cole, HVAC tech grease under the nails most days, married to Mia, who gets around fine with a folding cane when the weather acts up. We moved into Trenton Oaks for quiet, for trees, for neighbors who wave. Instead, we got a 300-page rulebook and a president named Karen, who speaks in citations like, "She's billing by the clause." First knock, 6 a.m., coffee half full. She hits me with a $250 fine because the trash bin winked at the street 3 minutes past 9. I write the check paid under protest on the memo and tell myself to be a grown-up. 2 days later, she's back holding a paint swatch. Says our mailbox is charcoal, needs to be obsidian. $50. I repaint, take pictures, make a little evidence album in my phone, laugh, so I don't grind my teeth. Third time, she crouches with a ruler at the driveway and measures a 1/4 inch of grass like she's NASA $500. And I feel something climb my neck that I haven't felt since the service, that old heat you get when someone smaller than the uniform tries to stand taller than the rules. I still pay. You know what I mean. You try to pick your battles. Then I see the real thing. Walmart lot. July heat, my knee barking. I spot the perfect blue space by the door, and right then a white SUV slides in without a placard. No plate, just entitlement with leather seats. Everyone in Trenton Oaks knows that SUV. Karen hops out in tennis whites, grabs a designer bag, and drifts inside like she owns the asphalt. I take photos wide shot, with the lines close shot, of the empty mirror. Call the non-emergency number, give the dispatcher what she needs, and wait. Officer Daniel Reyes shows up tight. Uniform, quiet steps. Writes the ticket, calls the tow. 15 minutes later, the flatbed is winching, and Karen is shouting about how she was only a minute. "Do you know who I am?" While a teenager whispers, "Yeah, this is justice. Keep filming." I don't gloat. I just go buy charcoal and Linda's potato salad like I planned. Thought it was done. Yeah, that happened. Next morning, Mia scrolls our neighborhood page and whistles low. There I am, a blurry photo labeled a hostile veteran, with issues who stalked an innocent woman and lied to the police. She didn't use my name, but she painted my face. Comments bloom like mold. I screenshot and mute before my hands show they're shaking. That night, a thick envelope gets taped to our door at 12:03. The porch cam catches a hoodie sleeve, a quick hand. Then gone. Inside is a notice of intent to lien for $2,050 in fines. No board vote wrong statute looks official enough to scare you into paying. I lay it on the table next to Mia's mug and think this isn't about bins or paint anymore. This is about power. Morning comes, and so does Reyes, off-duty hat in his hand. Eyes that say he's carrying more than hello. He tells me he's on a county disability fraud task force. Fake placards are popping up. A lot of them trace to our neighborhood, and they need probable cause. Clean documentation. Someone who won't swing, but will film. Let her think she's winning, he says. Angry people get sloppy. I nod, because he's not wrong. And we shake on a plan. And he leaves. The tire slash comes 2 nights later, front left of my old pickup, a hiss like a punctured lung. On the driveway cam, a hooded figure crouches. Knife glints, air screams. And when they turn to run, the street lamp catches a round woven patch on the sleeve, an HOA volunteer badge like a punchline. I export the clip. Hash it, double back it up. Send Reyes the file with the line she's getting bold. He replies in 2 minutes. Keep going. So I read every line of that HOA book and find a beautiful typo in Section 8B. City says landscaping equipment can start at 7 a.m. Our HOA says 6. That's their rule, not mine. At 5:59, I strap on my old 2-stroke like a jetpack walk to the property line 20 feet from her window. Check my watch and pull the cord. The engine roars awake leaves that don't need moving, suddenly need a symphony. The window flies up. "What in God's name are you doing?" she yells. I kill the engine and hold the book at chest level. Section 8B, I say your rules. I let it growl 10 more seconds just for the point and go inside to pancakes. Petty maybe, legal absolutely. And it resets something in me like I don't have to be the guy who takes it quietly anymore. Meanwhile, Reyes is cooking the bigger meal. The annual HOA donor night is coming warm wine in the clubhouse slideshow about Petunia's big checks for a fountain that sounds like a leak. He's got an undercover detective Ava Miller widow with money vibe, steady smile, good listener. She'll offer a $5,000 cash donation to the fountain fund and gently ask for a guaranteed accessible spot near her home and a permanent placard for her mom. No doctor, no paperwork, just convenience. Warrants are signed in a drawer cold until the cash changes hands or the promise leaves a mouth. The night arrives. Mia wears a blue dress that turns heads. I squeeze into a blazer that fits like cardboard. The clubhouse smells like shrimp tray and hairspray. Karen is a white swan with a clipboard gliding, collecting compliments like rent. Miller slides into her orbit purse on her wrist, a white envelope peeking just enough. A thumbtack mic sits in the flowers, another in her pen, and down the street, Reyes listens in a van, like a patient fisherman. My job is to keep Martin Pike, the VP, trapped in a sprinkler conversation. Mia works a charm offensive with 2 board members, telling a story about our cousin's disastrous homebrew that ends with a garage geyser. My phone buzzes mid-sprinkler lecture. Text from Reyes, we've got it. She took the envelope. Promise delivery by Friday. Put on the show. I've got the projector remote in my pocket because I volunteered to run slides. I click it. The wall at the end of the room lights up not with flowers, but with my driveway. At 2:17 a.m., black and silver, the hooded figure, the knife, the hiss, the turn, the badge catching the light. I let it loop once more, then freeze on the sleeve so no one can pretend they didn't see it. Murmurs ripple like wind in tall grass. Someone whispers, "Turn it off." I don't. I click to the next slide, subpoenaed bank statements, $3,000 withdrawals, boxed in red dates that line up with complaint spikes, signatures tilted like Karen tilts her name. And right then, she walks in envelope, tucked smile loaded, and the smile drops like a bad transmission when she sees the wall. Doors blast open, and half a dozen officers flow in, voices, calm words that change rooms. Trenton County Police warrants, nobody move. Most people freeze. Karen doesn't. She bolts down the side hall to the garage, heels slapping, and a big dude from the architectural committee tries to block the first officer and gets set gently but firmly into a bag of fertilizer. The garage smells like gasoline and spring. Karen fumbles her keys. Swings the SUV door open, yanks a heavy duffel, tries to bluff through, but the bag catches on a bolt and splits. Laminator sheets skitter hologram film, slide stacks of blank placards fan across the concrete in blue flashes, and the marked envelope tumbles right to Reyes's boot. He picks it up for the body cam. Karen stops talking. He cuffs her. Click. Click. She looks at me like I broke gravity. "You think you won," she says. Voice flat now, like the air finally left the balloon. I look at the floor at the blue plastic that turns a promise into a privilege, and at Reyes. Section 1A, I say no criminal enterprise on common property. Guess that one finally applies. He almost smiles. We didn't throw a party. We walked home slow like you do after a long storm when the sun is out, but the streets are still wet. Neighbors waved or looked at their shoes. Some said sorry with their eyes, and a few pretended they needed to check their phones. At our table, I set the rule book next to the fake lean, and the leaf blower in the corner still smelled like old gas. I thought about the first knock the ruler on my grass, the names people invent when they want to make you small, the way a whole street can decide silence is easier than friction. And I thought about peace and justice, how I used to think those were two lanes, pick one, stay in it. When really, it's the same road with a dozen potholes, and you fix them by showing up with a camera. When you must, with a vote. When you can, with your voice always. So here's where I leave it, and hand you the mic. Was I right to call the tow that day, or did I pour gas on a neighbor feud that needed grace? Not heat should a fake placard mean jail. Public shame. Both neither. Do people like Karen take power, or do we hand it over because we don't want to wake up early and sit through boring meetings about sprinkler heads? Tell me where you draw the line. Drop your story. If you've ever needed a blue space and found it blocked, or if you looked away once because it was easier, hit. Like if this made you think, subscribe. If you want more real stories told plain, and use the comments to argue with me a little. What does justice look like where you live, and did we earn it tonight, or just get lucky? Your move, Trenton Oaks.